Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. The three, steps back, crossover, puts up a three. Rebound James. Seconds. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland! This is for you!
How we doing, Cleveland? How we doing? Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Block the Shot to Stop, your Cleveland Cavaliers podcast brought to you by the Blue Air Podcast Network, where obviously we discuss the, hopefully I didn't speak too soon, 10-0 Cleveland Cavaliers. I know. We're currently recording with about 4.5 minutes to go. Cavs are up 123-103 on the Golden State Warriors. Had the best first half in franchise history tonight, as they look to have continue the best start in franchise history tonight. Kevin, holy moly! So there are so many different things we can talk about that start with that first half, and I want to start with the fact that in the first quarter, the team had 39 points. I don't know they ended up with 83.5.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Mitchell had 5 of them.
Yeah.
This team has evolved so much, and we've talked about that quite a bit throughout the year, obviously. But the fact that they don't need Donovan Mitchell to bail them out night in and night out, and the fact that literally every guy they're throwing in to these games is contributing for them, and they can really adjust their minutes, especially with the back-to-back tomorrow night against Brooklyn, who is a little feistier than we thought they were. I thought they'd be kind of feisty. I didn't think they'd be this feisty. And Garland just said, there we go. Skylar fits his first prop. There's Garland. Because I think
shout out Skylar.
Yeah, even when he's not here, he gets his flowers. So back on the winning track there. But right now they're up 125-103 with 4 minutes to go. So Kev, you said you had some big K journalism stats for me. I can't wait to hear them. But holy moly, what a performance. And there are so many things I want to talk about from this game. But I first want to get to what your first thoughts are.
So it's the offense in the first half that you touched on, the 83 points. I mean, basically scoring 40 a quarter in each the first and second. And I mean, it was beautiful to watch. As you said, I wanted to save the halftime stats. They had 8 guys with at least 7 points, kind of talking to what you were talking about. They don't need Mitchell to bail them out, balanced scoring. But the thing that I stood out to me while watching it that I went to specifically look up is how many assists do they have in this first half? Because they were sharing the ball and moving the ball so well. And so I to put in context, the team that averages the most assists in the league, ironically, is the Toronto Raptors. They average 30.5 per game, and the Cavs are at 29. They're one of the top teams also. The Cavs had 22 assists in the first half.
Yeah.
So they were literally on pace to do 150% of the top team in the NBA as far as assists go. And I love as far as, traditional stats, assists are one of my favorites because it just tells you when you compare assists versus field goals, how the team is playing offense. If they're playing more isolated, if they're playing more, ball movements, penetration and kick. And I just thought 22 assists and a half, that's got to be one of the top performances in the NBA this season so far, if not the top.
It has to be, man. What they are able to do, they're so good at just finding that extra pass. And that's, I think, the best thing about the Kenny Atkinson offense is that they just share the ball so well. They continuously find an open shot. And it kind of reminded me, which is going to lead into one of my points here. When we talk about those Dynasty Warrior teams, that's what they did. And I mean, they consistently, and granted, they had Curry, Thompson, Durant. I understand that. But they just consistently always found the next guy. They always made that next pass to get to the guy. And that was what's so irritating about playing against them.
Yeah.
And so what's really funny about that is that one of my first points I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if you saw this during the broadcast. So they were showing clips of Steve Kerr's media availability today.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually said, compared to this Cavaliers team with Kenny Atkinson taking over, to his first year with the Warriors, when they were already plenty talented, the foundation was already there, and he just came in made them made a couple changes to what Mark Jackson did, and they ended up winning a title. So basically what he's saying is the Cavaliers are going to win the title.
In not so many words, but no, I mean it's a fair comparison. The rosters are a little bit different, but in the vein of like it being a young team on the rise that's already accomplished some things, and they kind of need a coach to come in to put the last pieces together and everything. I actually thought something I hadn't thought about comparing, the early editions of like the Splash Brother Warriors to this Cavs team, but I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it really does. And I mean, the Cavs bench kind of is pretty similar to that bench. And you look at guys like Ty Jerome kind of playing the not as tall Sean Livingston role. That kind of helps him a lot as well. But what a way to start a back-to-back. So you mentioned, obviously, all 5 stars in double figures. That's becoming a regular thing for this team. But overall, they had, 6 guys in double figures. And then Niang had 7, LeVert had 8. But LeVert also has 8, 7, and 4. Ty Jerome with a 20-burger. 7 of 8 from the floor.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it now. Well, let's talk about Ty Jerome now. All right. We're going to talk about his game and everything, but I think we promised you all earlier in the week. I know I went on a rant and said, because of how unique of a player Ty Jerome was, I really wanted him to have a nickname. And I went online. The only thing I could find out about him having a nickname already was there was like a clip where somebody told him his nickname on Basketball Reference was Milk, and he like scoffed and was like, "That's not it. Like that is not a nickname." So I'm like, okay, as far as we know, this guy does not have a nickname. So I put a lot of feelers out. We put some on social media, had a lot of interaction on Reddit, the Cleveland Cavs group and everything, and we came up with the top 5. And I have one fun. Yes. Okay. So the top 5 nicknames for Ty Jerome: TJ Maxx, Typhoon, Thank You Jerome, Tango, and Beanie Baby. And I'll tell you, I love the Beanie Baby one.
Me too.
I think that might age a little bit. I don't think Ty Jerome would get it, and that's the problem. Right. That's the only thing I don't like about it, is a little bit of a dated reference. So
us, yes. Other people, not so much. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I think you said you like TJ Maxx, right?
Love it. Absolutely love it.
I like TJ Maxx too. I kind of liked Tango, especially because who put it up there said like it was because of his fancy footwork and everything. But let's go with TJ Maxx.
All right, TJ Maxx. Let's get the
TJ Maxx Jerome. We're gonna get it going. That's his new name. That's what we're gonna call him exclusively from now on. And we're gonna say it a lot because he is playing really well. Like it's every time he has a good game, he seems like to top it. He seems like he has a really good game 2 out of every 3 games. And he was really good again. And again, 20 points, didn't contribute kind of in some of the other stat areas as much, but like hit just about every shot he took.
Yeah. I mean, legitimately was 7 of 8 from the floor.
Yeah.
And was 3 of 3 from 3. Our guy Tristan got in tonight. Can we just make sure we make mention of that real quick? Tristan Thompson played in a basketball game
Tristan.
In 2024. He missed a shot. He was 0 of 1.
Yeah.
So that's fun. So I kind of mentioned at the start of the show to kind of circle around that they don't need Donovan Mitchell to bail them out of these games. Statistically, Donovan Mitchell was the worst starter tonight. And like just had an off night. Yeah. Was good rebounding, was obviously, really good at facilitating the ball, but 12 points on 2 of 7 from 3, 4 of 13 shooting. Obviously not the nights you expect from Mitchell, but that tells you where this team is at right now. That they are fine if he has games like this. They are fine if he's struggling, and they don't need him to drop 35, 37 points to win games. Darius Garland tonight had 27, albeit the last 8 of that was when the game was way out of hand. Yeah. But was terrific. Evan Mobley, yet again, 23, 4 and 4 tonight, 7 of 12 from the floor. Just terrific. And this balance on this team is why they're so good. This balance in this team is why you can never cut them out. Because Mitchell can have an off night, and here's Ty Jerome coming in, going 7 of 8 from the floor. Or You think when Karis LeVert comes in, maybe they're going to take a step back on offense? Nope. He's facilitating. He is fighting for that 6th man of the year candidacy. They just always find ways. And one of the things that Mitchell said the other day that I really loved, that really jumped out to me is, in this counting tonight now, he said that we have won every way possible already this year. We have had to have comebacks, like in the Knicks game. We have had blowouts. He's like, we have had games where we had to dig deep, and he's like, we've had games where you ran away from people. And that's paraphrasing. Those aren't his exact words by any means. But what we're kind of seeing from this team right now is there's just no way to count them out.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And just a quick housekeeping. I meant to shout out Hafey on Reddit is the one who came up with TJ Maxx. I didn't want to take credit.
Yes.
So
Hafey.
I'm gonna I'll shoot you a message. Make sure you see this. Take your trophy. But but otherwise, Cat, you're right about the Cat. They just get contributions from everywhere, and they play 10 guys every single night. If somebody's out, like we saw Dean Wade missed a couple games, LeVert missed a couple games, just the 11th guy moves up into the rotation and they contribute, right? I think that was Craig Porter Jr. a couple games earlier this week. And then he doesn't play tonight, at least until garbage time.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know. So I'll give you kind of an example of what you're talking about. Like Isaac Okoro was awesome, especially in that first half. He ended up with, I believe, 16 points, 16 points, 4 assists, was all over the place defensively. He was awesome. He was actually maybe their best player in the first half. And I'm thinking, like, if he plays with this, he's got to get more minutes. But then you look around, like, where's he getting those minutes from?
Right.
You know, like, it's like those things can be true. Someone's playing so well they deserve more minutes. But if everyone's doing that, then you just kind of go status quo and keep riding this surf, right?
You have to at this point. And I think that's like the balance of, like I said, the way that this team is also cool with that is also really cool. Like Donovan Mitchell is what? Top 12 player in the league.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that, you know, between him and Brunson, you can fluctuate that top 10 spot. I saw today Jeff Teague said he was better than Anthony Edwards. I like it. I don't know where I'm at with it just yet, but I like it. But you know, when he has a night like tonight, he's out there celebrating his dudes. He's out there flexing when Ty Jerome's hitting threes, and TJ Maxx is hitting threes, and he's out there just doing his thing. And I think that that's what makes it so awesome is, so Grace's uncle called me today. So they're in the Cleveland area. They're Clevelanders, and they're the reason I kind of got on board, and they know now I do the show. He called me and he's like, you know, he's in his 60s. He's like, I've been watching the Cavs basically since they became a team. He's like, this is without a doubt the most fun Cavs team I've ever rooted for.
Interesting.
He's seen 5 finals teams, and this is the team that he's like, they're super fun. They're really enjoyable. They all like each other. The bench is great. Kenny's a great coach. This core 4 is incredible. He's like, and obviously they're 10-0. He's like, they're just the most fun team for me to watch.
Yeah, they have a spirit of like an amateur team, like almost like a mid-major college team. The way they're, you know, everybody's jumping around the bench and playing off of each other and kind of, you know, selfless and truly rooting for one another. Stuff like the only other team I really see this from in the NBA right now this season is the Thunder. The Thunder's very, very similar, and it may be the right combination of talent and youth that kind of make this happen. But yeah, it's fun, and it makes it even more fun to root for them when they're not only are they winning, but it seems like they're having so much fun while they're winning. Like, how could we not have fun, right?
Right. And that's the thing that makes it like incredible is that we get to talk about this team on a nightly basis, basically. Yeah. And we come here on every show, and look, we know it's inevitable they're going to lose a game at some point. But the way that they just put these things together and the way they put these games together is amazing. But like,
are you sure they're going to lose a game?
I don't know.
We keep saying that, and now, you know, they're 12, 13% through the season, and they haven't lost one yet.
Yeah. By the way, the last team in NBA history to start 10-0.
Last team to go 10-0. Was it a Golden State team? Was it
16
Golden
Warriors.
State? 16? Yeah, that makes sense.
16 Warriors. They went to the finals, and then the title of our show was born.
Right.
Yeah, 9 years later.
Yes.
So, dude, I would kind of want to kind of go through a couple of things real quick. And one thing I wanted to say, and I'm curious about this.
Mm-hmm.
So over here on this new community, actually it's a little older, but new for us, this little thing called Blue Sky.
Okay.
The Cavaliers community over there is incredible, by the way. I'm working on getting Kevin's access to our account, but apparently it's a lot harder than I thought it was. And Tony Pesta, who is over there, he is a writer for Fear the Sword and works for SB Nation. Actually used to work for Blue Wire, apparently. Literally said, this is the best team in basketball. And he is a Cavs fan, so I'm going to make sure I preface that. But at one point, and I understand we all think super highly of the Celtics, and we should, because they are terrific. And we basically have the Celtics as the Cavs measuring stick throughout the season, as we should. I mean, defending champions, the way their lineups are set up. What point do we wonder if they really are? I mean, right now, I definitely think they're a top 3 team.
Yeah, I was gonna say right now we can wonder. I think you're right. What you just said is exactly what I was thinking. I'm comfortable saying they're top 3: Cavs, Thunder, Celtics, and then a gap to everyone else. Right, right now, right? Could change throughout the season, but we're talking, now 2.5 weeks into the season. And doesn't matter if they're 1 right now or 3. You can make a case right now that they're 1. If we're strict, the reason wouldn't be number 1 is more legacy, because this is the first time they played this good. They've been good in the past. This is the first time they've been great with this team. Whereas the Celtics and the Thunder were both great last season. So that's like the one reason you almost might, maybe if you're cautiously optimistic, you would want to keep them at 3. But right now, I think it's totally fair to say they're a top 3 team, and I could make a strong argument for them to be number 1.
Me too. And a lot of that is not just the fact that they're 10-0 and those other teams have losses. It's the metrics, right? Yeah. I mean, they're the number 1 offense, or number 2 offense, number 5 defense. Their bench unit is amongst the best in the league. It's really possible. So Sydney says, so do you think we could realistically win the title now? Yes. Yeah. I thought, why not? I mean, realistically, what are they missing? And we've talked about, they have an ability to get in foul trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, possible. And I know I've talked about wanting to go get an additional big. But I don't necessarily know if they need it the way that they play.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think yes, could they win the title right now? Yes. Are they have a perfect record, but they're not a perfect team. Like you said, a lot of their stats are phenomenal. The offense has been phenomenal. A lot of things about the defense have been really good, but it's almost funny that one of the things you thought would be their strength, maybe their biggest strength, would be rebounding with Allen and Mobley and everyone else. They're actually bottom 5 or 6 in the league in rebounding.
I know.
So if you're looking for things to, but all that's all it can be connected. If you're making the most shots, there's less opportunities for offensive rebounds and things like that. And so, but yeah, there's could they win the title right now? Yes. Are they a perfect team? No. But the thing is, they have everything you would want as far as a foundation, and all they have to do is kind of just keep polishing up the edges to kind of take that full leap into top contender.
Yeah. You mentioned them, so I have to go ahead and say this. Apparently there is a nickname for Allen and Mobley, and I need a t-shirt. Have you heard this?
No.
Frobley.
Oh, really?
I need a t-shirt that says that.
Probably. Maybe we make one.
Dude, why not? I don't know if it's copywritten. I don't think it is, because it's the first we've heard about it. Yeah. So we've got TJ Maxx. We've got Frobley.
Sure, we're not going to get any kind of copyright infringement here.
No. No, no. What X?
No, we make the Frobly t-shirts, then sell them to TJ Maxx and let
That's
them
right.
retail. No, yeah,
That's right.
that's
Um,
genius.
should we talk about Darius Garland?
Sure.
Oh my God, dude! Eastern Conference Player of the Week looking like?
Good chance. I mean, and it would be fitting for him and Mitchell to win on back-to-back weeks.
Wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, even tonight, it seemed like he was fairly quiet because I think collectively the Cavalanche was so enormous that like not one person
balanced
really
and
yeah, exactly. So like some of these games, it does it. You kind of Garland's one of those players you sometimes look up. You're like, wow, he has that many points, or wow, he has that few. It seems like he's impacting the game so much. But you look, he has been consistently really good. We talked about it before. Really, the only thing that has impeded his performance this year is the foul trouble he's gotten into 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's been pretty phenomenal, and especially shooting the 3, he's been great.
That and his passing ability. That pass he made to Niang tonight right before the shot clock was unbelievable. I don't know how many people make that pass.
Right.
That's like a LeBron-esque pass right there.
Yeah.
And just the way that he's kind of, like you said, so the way he's shooting the ball, what he's doing from 3, stretching the floor for them. And you can just tell it's his offense. One of the things you and I talked about quite a bit for the season started was, okay, who's the backup point guard? Is it going to be Mitchell? Because Garland's probably going to have to sit out 15 minutes. But no, he doesn't. No. And just the fact that he just kind of the way he just bounced back from just a difficult year last year. And there were Cavs fans who wanted him traded and now look very, very silly. I was one of them. So I will happily eat crow and be wrong. Just, dude, insane. So tonight, 29 points, 6 assists, just flat out took over the game. And Sydney asks here, this is actually going to be my next point. How much of this year is Kenny or how much is just health, you all think? I said this when the Cavs hired Kenny Atkinson on the happy hour, that Kenny Atkinson made D'Angelo Russell an all-star. Imagine what he's going to do with Darius Garland. And look what he's doing with Darius Garland. Darius Garland right now has a case at the season ended today to be an All-NBA.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think like most answers, it's D, all the above. Like Garland being healthy, another year of development because he's still a really young player. He's like 23, 24, something like that. So and Kenny coming in as a mentor, maybe putting him in different positions to succeed. And I think the overall development of the team has caused everyone to they've complemented each other and lifted each other. So I think, Mobley's development has helped Garland, and vice versa. And the other thing I'll say is the rapport between Allen and Garland is one of the best point guard center rapports in the league right now. The way they're setting up the pick and roll, Garland setting up Allen to score, it's been really, really great. And to Kenny Atkinson's credit, he has made sure those two are on the floor together pretty much at all times, like whenever they're out there. Yeah,
we've really come a long way from the rumors that Darius Garland didn't want to play with Mitchell and he wants to be traded, and Rich Paul is going to enforce a trade. And that's the farthest thing from the truth when you watch those two on the floor together. Donovan Mitchell literally is tweeting about Darius Garland games, and just like we said earlier, just such a likable team. Well, Kev, this is Kenny Atkinson revenge weekend, apparently, because after taking out the team he won a title with as an assistant coach tonight in the Golden State Warriors. By the way, can we just mention, before we get to this solid conversation that I'm about, before we preview tomorrow's game, how nice I bet today's feels for the diehard Cavs fans. Where it doesn't bring the rings back,
right?
But to beat that team the way you did, when they beat you like that many of times, in the 2010s, had to be a nice breather. Had to be a nice sign of fresh air.
I think it still feels good to Cavs because So much of Golden State is the same. Like,
Yeah.
right? They still have Steph and Draymond and Kerr and a
Looney
few,
and
Looney, yeah, and a few of those guys. And so I think as long as that core is still there, it'll bring up those memories. It's could be another several years.
Yeah, I say it all the time. I've said it here on the show. In my honest opinion, it's the most important NBA Finals of all time. And one time, maybe we'll do it on your show where I explain why. But which you can check out. Kevin and I did an episode this week, and it was very good. I'm not tapping us on the shoulder, but we earned it. The Brooklyn Nets are coming to town tomorrow, Kevin, and the team that fired Kenny Atkinson because he wanted to play Jared Allen over DeAndre Jordan. Let's just listen to that sentence.
Yeah.
He lost his job because he liked Jared Allen more than a bum-washed DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, definitely the whole situation with Kenny in Brooklyn was interesting because I feel like you saw seeds of how good of a coach he could be with how he did kind of turn that around. And then you saw some of the repercussions of modern day NBA and player empowerments and everything that Kenny ended up taking on the chin. But tomorrow should be like, I think it'll be a more interesting game than we would have circled on the calendar earlier in the year.
Yeah, for sure.
Couple of reasons. Brooklyn is playing better than we thought they would. We've talked about before. I love Dennis Schroeder. He's always going to have a soft spot for him. And the other thing is the Cavs have played a lot, man. I think they've played. Are they the first team to 10 games in the NBA? But and they played 4 games this week. I think they've played 10 games in like 17 days to start the year, something like that. So I expect one of these games for them to, come out flat or just have heavy legs or something like that. And, it could happen tomorrow and they could still win, but it's just something I kind of look out for because it's going to happen here at some point.
Yeah, it is. So Brooklyn tonight took the Celtics to overtime and lost by 4.
Okay.
But this is a team who, you talk about fun teams to watch. This is a fun Nets team. I like this team a lot. Do I think they're good? No. Do I think 4 and 5 is probably exaggerating what they'll be at the end of the year? Yes. I definitely think they'll still be in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. But at the same point, like you said, Dennis Schroeder, hilariously fun. Cam Thomas, your favorite player, obviously, dropped 31 tonight, has been crazy efficient this year. Don't know where that came from.
It's not going to last.
No, it's not. Ben Simmons, who we talked about earlier in the week, has been having like a really fun revitalization season, kind of like his Derrick Rose year almost.
Yeah.
And Nick Claxton. I freaking love Nick Claxton. I would love to see him on a good basketball team. Like, wouldn't you love to see him next to Anthony Davis?
He just kind of Jared Allen reincarnated on that.
Yeah, he is for sure. I would like to see Jared Allen next to Anthony Davis, just not on the Lakers.
Right.
So just to see what it'd be like. But it's the team, like you said, it's much better than we thought they'd be. The Cavs are currently opening as a 12.5-point favorite in this game. I think I would be willing to say it's going to be closer than that.
Yeah. I think that would be the kind of smarter play, only because like you said, they have to, be a little bit worse for wear at some point, you would think.
Right.
And especially, and I'm thinking a lot about Mobley and Allen. It's kind of rare yes, they played together, but the Cavs ask a lot of those two guys as the only two bigs that play and to get bang every night and everything. And neither of them are the, biggest, thickest centers in the league. At some point, they're just going to have a game where they're, don't have it. And so, yeah, I would guess tomorrow quite possibly could be closer than that. But, I thought tonight's game was going to be closer. So
yeah, right.
The Cavs just keep proving us wrong.
Yeah, the Mobley and Allen versus Ben Simmons and Nick Claxton matchup is really fascinating to me.
One for the ages.
Right. Never in a million years thought I would say that in 2024. But just that this like just straight girth all over the place in that game. Super size and the athleticism. Mobley and Simmons is gonna be really fun to see if they get chances where they're matched up against each other in the half court. Which they probably will. I mean, Mobley was guarding LeBron last week. And vice versa, which was like the highlight of like my nerd love life, which I talked about on an episode that we did last week. But a team that's playing much better than we all thought they would, a team that you have to be a real NBA nerd to probably know half the roster. But I'm excited to see the matchup because, like you said, eventually there's going to be a time when the Cavs just don't have it. And it's normally games like this, right? But how tired are the Nets going to be that they just had to give it their all against the Celtics, go to overtime, and have to travel?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, you're right. I honestly didn't think about it from the Brooklyn perspective as much that they probably have even more reason to have heavy legs tomorrow night. But yeah, it's a very interesting matchup because some of Brooklyn's strength is kind of opposite. They have, I shouldn't say their strength. They have such a random team, and they have a bunch of guys that would be the great sixth, seventh, or eighth man for a winning team.
Yeah.
So they have the ideal team to make like 5 trades and end up with like 7 draft picks. For sure.
Time. Yeah. If Ben Simmons didn't have such a crappy contract, I'd be like, why not bring him to the team?
Expiring now.
That's true. That's true. Something to watch for, I guess. But man, just another fun night covering this wonderful Cleveland Cavaliers team. A straight waxing of the arch enemy for many of years in the Golden State Warriors. And we are now, Kevin, just a week away next Friday from the first NBA Cup game.
Here we go.
The first trophy we're grabbed this year.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be fun. I mean, granted, the first 2 are against the Bulls, right?
You hope. I don't know. Kobe White's on one of those Kobe White heaters again.
Yeah. It's still, because it's still new, it's hard to get into the opening rounds. By like the time they got to Vegas last year, it was a ton of fun. But we'll see. A lot of things can be a flash in the pan, one time, and the NBA Cup was a lot of fun last year. But I think this year will tell us a lot, like, are players going to be into it again? Or is it going to be competitive? Are the best teams going to take it seriously? That's kind of what I'll be looking for, not only from the Cavs, but across the NBA, really.
I love this. You absolutely
I know you do.
This. I love the Olympics. I love Summer League. Anytime there's a championship on the line, I am all for watching it in basketball. So yes, this is for sure right up my alley. But hey, we're going to go and wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. As always, this has been an unbelievable start to the year. We never thought this team would be 10-0, and the fact that they just keep rolling. Let's make it 11-0. Me and Skylar will be here tomorrow. Skylar and I. Kevin's an English major. He's probably going to suspend me after that one. But Skylar and I will be back tomorrow to recap the Nets game, and then we will see you guys then. So have an awesome night. Enjoy your Friday. Have a nice, delicious beer to celebrate a 10-0 Cavaliers start.
Go Cavs, America's team.